Picture this. In just 17 seconds, two men drained $2.3 million from a children's cancer fund. Not a single penny reaches the kids fighting for their lives. Not one soul gets warned. The money? It vanishes into wine cellars and marble floors, while families pray in hospital waiting rooms. What you're about to hear isn't just about stolen money. It's about the moment one woman walked into a hearing room and detonated lies so explosive that billionaires started looking like common thieves in expensive suits. The hearing room smells like lemon polish and desperation. Chairs lined up too straight, flags too stiff, everything scrubbed clean as if someone tried to wash the truth right out of the air. Then Jasmine Crockett walks in. She doesn't glide. She cuts through the silence, heels tapping like a countdown to Judgment Day. At the witness table sits Eric Trump, lounging like he's auditioning for Untouchable. Arms stretched, legs sprawled, wearing that trademark grin that assumes the story's already been written. He whispers to his lawyer and chuckles loud enough for the microphones to catch, smug enough to make your skin crawl. 2 rows behind him, Donald Trump sits stone-faced, arms crossed like a wall built from pure ego. His presence alone screams one message: I'm still the king of this circus. But Jasmine doesn't bow. She doesn't flinch. She adjusts her microphone and drops a sentence that lands like a grenade with a slow fuse. Let me be clear, she begins, voice calm but lethal. Today we're not judging a man. We're judging a mechanism that wraps itself in children's faces while funneling money into the pockets of the powerful. That's the first time Eric moves. Just a twitch of his mouth. But Jasmine sees it. So do the cameras. So does everyone watching from offices, hospital rooms, and living rooms across America. The donors who believed charity meant healing, not hiding. Then she does something that changes everything. She reaches into her bag and pulls out a thick yellow folder, places it on the desk slowly, quietly, like setting a landmine. No label, no explanation, just thick enough to make Eric lean forward and Donald Trump tilt his head ever so slightly. What's inside that folder? Evidence. Timing. Revenge measured in black ink. Wait until you hear what happens when she opens it. Jasmine doesn't open the folder immediately. She lets it sit there humming with tension, while Eric's fingers start tapping on the table. Not loud, but steady, like a man who's heard thunder in the distance and knows it's headed his way. Finally, she unfastens a flap and removes a single page. One cold, hardline item. One transfer. One date that's about to change everything. $180,000, she says, holding the page between 2 fingers like evidence at a crime scene. Transferred on June 4 from the Eric Trump Foundation to an entity called Red Liberty LLC. No public record services. No charitable report filed. No explanation. Eric's lips part, but no words come. His attorney leans in to whisper, but Jasmine cuts straight through like a knife through silk. Here's another, she continues, pulling out a second sheet. For $130,000. July 22nd. Same direction. Same shell company. The memo says event coordination expense. Yet there was no event, no venue, no staff. Just a wire transfer. The room goes dead silent. That's when a Republican panelist slams his palm on the desk, like he's trying to stop a runaway train. Mr. Chairman, this is a smear job. These documents haven't been verified. Jasmine doesn't even blink. Reclaiming my time, she says, voice sharp enough to slice steel. I'm not here to entertain comfort. I'm here to unveil pattern. She spreads 3 more pages across the table, like a blackjack dealer showing a losing hand. Amounts, company names, all pointing to the same dark river of money flowing from sick children into corporate dead ends. The cameras zoom in on Eric's fingers, tapping faster now. His lawyer passes him a note. Donald Trump shifts for the first time since the hearing started, jaw clenched, foot bouncing with nervous energy he's trying to hide. But here's where it gets really crazy. Jasmine leans forward, calm as a surgeon about to make the first cut. The entity known as Red Liberty LLC was incorporated 3 weeks before the major gala fundraiser. It has no website, no board, no employees, yet it has received more money from the Eric Trump Foundation than all 5 pediatric hospitals combined. Gasps echo through the chamber. Even Republicans look away. But Jasmine isn't done. She picks up another document and holds it like a funeral photo. This isn't just bad accounting, she says, tapping the page with her nail. It's betrayal one decimal at a time. A camera flashes. The red recording light blinks. Eric folds his hands, but his fingers keep twitching like live wires. Then Jasmine asks the question that breaks everything wide open. Mr. Trump, where did the children's money go? The silence that follows is deafening. Eric blinks. His lips move, but no words come. Finally, he leans toward the microphone and delivers something worse than a lie, a stammer. These documents are taken out of context. We've always acted within the bounds of the law. Jasmine raises her hand, stopping him cold. Let's talk about context, she says, pulling out another receipt. A wire transfer of $62,000 classified as special media logistics. The destination? A political PR firm registered to a strip mall in Nevada. No office, no phone, no actual business. She taps the paper with a red pen like she's marking a test. This expense was filed 2 days after a televised fundraiser for terminally ill children, the same day your father announced new campaign ads. Coincidence? Eric doesn't answer. Even Donald Trump's shoulders stiffen. But what happens next will shock you to your core. Jasmine stands slowly, deliberately. You called out of context, so let's put back in. Let's lay every transfer, every receipt, every signature on the table. Live, under oath, in front of the people who trusted you with their last $10. Eric exhales hard through his nose like he's trying to blow away the pressure building inside his own name. That's when Jasmine drops the nuclear bomb. She clicks a remote, and the screen behind her lights up with text. Red Liberty LLC wire history 2022 to 2023. 5 wire transfers scroll down. Same origin, Eric Trump Foundation. Same destination, Red Liberty LLC. The totals climb past $2 million. $2.1 million, Jasmine says flatly, was sent from a foundation bearing your name to an entity with no website, no building, no staff, and no public record of charitable work. Not once. Not ever. But then she shows footage from the 2022 gala in Palm Beach. Eric stands on stage, arms wide, promising the crowd that every dollar goes to children fighting cancer. Applause erupts. Balloons drop. Champagne flows. Jasmine freezes the frame. This was 3 days before the largest transfer to Red Liberty. The footage continues. A close-up of an oversized check presented on stage. $1 million pledged to St. Jude. More applause. Then Jasmine's voice cuts through like a siren. No record of that donation ever being processed. No record of that money ever reaching the hospital. What we do have is a $480,000 payment to Red Liberty, dated the same day, labeled Event Logistics. The room gasps. This isn't speculation anymore. It's footage. It's handwriting. It's receipts. But the most heartbreaking moment is still coming. Jasmine reaches for a smaller folder, soft blue with frayed edges like torn breath. She places it gently on the table. These aren't financial records, she says softly. These are letters from families who believed in you. She opens it and removes a single sheet. A child's drawing is clipped to the corner. Crayon stick figures with a sun in the sky. One figure lies in a hospital bed. Dear Foundation, Jasmine reads, her voice barely above a whisper. We were so grateful to hear your gala raise money for children with stage 4 cancer. My daughter Ellie was diagnosed 3 months ago. Our insurance won't cover her trial medication. When we called your office, we were told the fund had run out, but we just watched the gala. We saw the $1 million check. Please, is there any way you can help her before it's too late? Jasmine stops. Her fingers curl slightly under the edge of the page. She was 7 years old. Her name was Ellie Reynolds. She died 2 weeks later. Eric Trump's smile completely disappears. The room holds its breath. While a mother was whispering goodbye in a hospital bed, Jasmine continues. A $480,000 invoice was quietly processed, signed by Eric Trump himself. She pulls out the receipt, Timestamped 2 days before the denial letter. The gasps aren't performative this time. They're real, raw, human. Another letter. Another family denied. Another child's hope crushed while wine flowed and marble floors gleamed. Then Jasmine holds up a photo that stops everyone cold. Eric Trump, wine glass in hand, standing in a lavish marble tasting room. The caption reads, "Another perfect upgrade, worth every penny." She places a photo beside Ellie's letter. The contrast is devastating. You toasted renovations while a mother held her child's hand through chemo. You ordered custom floors while father asked if his son's name was still on the list. The silence isn't just uncomfortable. It's personal. It's the silence you feel when you realize someone didn't just lie to the public. They lied to a dying child. But the biggest bombshell is about to drop. Jasmine pulls out a small black recording device, places on the table, and presses play. Static, then voices, then Eric Trump's unmistakable tone. Look, the donors are dumb. They just want a handshake and a story. You show them a sick kid, slap a logo on a check, and they'll cry into their cocktails. Then we move the funds where they're actually needed. Simple. The room erupts. These aren't just damaging words. They're cruel, calculated, the kind that no PR team can polish. Eric's entire posture collapses. Donald Trump's face turns red, but for once, he has nothing to say. The recording continues. They'll never trace it. People don't question charity. They question headlines. When Jasmine stops a recording, the silence is absolute, dead. Even the cameras seem frozen, unsure whether to move or just let the horror sink in. But Jasmine isn't finished. She has one final witness that changes everything. I'd like to call Kayla Monroe, former accounting manager at the Eric Trump Foundation. A woman walks in carrying a thin brown folder, like it contains something radioactive. She takes the oath without blinking and sits across from Jasmine with steel calm. You worked at the foundation for 4 years. Were you responsible for reviewing expenditures? Every dollar that went in or out crossed my desk, or at least it was supposed to. What do you mean by supposed to? Some expenses weren't logged through official channels. They were handed to me directly, rewritten, reclassified. Eric would cross out anything that looked too campaignish and rewrite it as outreach or awareness. He'd say the same thing every time. What did he say? Caleb takes a breath. We're saving America and saving taxes. Don't worry, no one audits charity. The words hang in the air like a confession carved in stone. Why come forward now? For the first time, Caleb looks up, not at Jasmine or Eric, but at the public gallery. Because I watched families cry on the phone, and I watched him order wine while we shredded receipts. The crack in the machine becomes a fracture. The ghost is spoken, and the truth can't be buried anymore. Then comes the moment that changes American politics forever. Donald Trump explodes out his chair like a man on fire. She's lying. This whole damn thing is a setup. This is a disgrace, a total pathetic third world sham. His finger jabs across the room toward Jasmine like a weapon. You want a headline, lady? Here's your headline. You're a fraud. But Jasmine doesn't move. She turns toward him like steel facing fire, not flinching, just hardening. If exposing theft is disgraceful, then history is guilty too, she says, her voice low and razor sharp. You're not shouting at me. You're shouting at the paperwork, at your son's signature, at contract with no children's names but plenty of campaign slogans. Trump freezes mid-rant. When truth shows up with receipts, the only defense left is volume. The silence that follows isn't just stillness. It's surrender. Eric sinks into his seat like his spine has been cut. Trump's face twitches, but he says nothing because for once he can't. Then Jasmine delivers her final blow, speaking not to the committee, but to every American watching. I represent people who've never had a PAC, who never threw galas or drank $1,000 wine. I represent parents who worked double shifts to send $5 to a cancer fund so their kids might see 6th grade. They weren't stupid. They weren't dumb donors like your tape said. They were hopeful. Her voice catches for just a second. You told them their money would help, but when the chairs, curtains, campaign flyers, and vineyard marble. I didn't come here to humiliate you. You did that yourself the moment you put profit over children. In that moment, she isn't just confronting a man. She's confronting a myth, a system, a lie that's been dressed up as charity for too long. The hearing ends with something unprecedented. A criminal referral to the Department of Justice, approved by a bipartisan vote. For the first time in years, accountability wins over politics. But this story doesn't end in the hearing room. It ends with change. Within days, states launch new investigations into nonprofit abuse. Congress passes bipartisan legislation banning charities, from funneling money to political action committees. The law gets fast-tracked and signed in under 10 days. And across America, something shifts. Real charities see increased donations. Families start asking harder questions. Accountability becomes more than just a word. Sometimes revolution doesn't roar. It whispers. It reforms without asking permission. And from the shadows of power, one woman who dared to speak without fear watches as something fundamental changes in her country. Not because she sought fame or glory, but because she remembered what courage sounds like when silence has lasted too long. The truth wasn't lost. It was just hidden, waiting for someone brave enough to drag it into the light. What would you do if the truth knocked but no one answered? If this story made you think, like, share and subscribe, because the next story we tell might be about the moment you decided to stop looking away.